On the night of April 25th, drones attacked airfields in Novofedorivka and Kacha in temporarily occupied Crimea. That's according to the Crimean Wind Telegram channel Ukrinform reports. Last night, UAVs targeted Russian airfields in Novofedorivka and Kacha, as reported by our subscribers, the Post reads. The attack lasted approximately 5 hours. Explosions were also reported in Armyansk and Krasnoperekopsk, though the consequences of the strikes remain unclear. As reported by Ukrinform on the evening of April 23rd, explosions were heard in Crimea, with reports suggesting that an airfield may have been targeted. A drone strike hit the home of Chechen deputy leader Murad Saidov in Crimea, according to Atesh. The attack occurred this morning in Saki, where the Kadyrov official was present. According to the report, the drone struck the building, damaged the house and several nearby vehicles. Obviously, Ukraine's defense forces do not target civilian sites, and in this case, it's another example of the poor performance of Russian air defense. But it serves as a clear reminder to the occupiers and their collaborators that it's time to flee from Ukrainian Crimea, the partisans said. Explosions were also heard in other parts of Crimea, including Armyansk and Krasnoperekopsk. The full extent of the damage is still being assessed. The Russian Defense Ministry reported 59 unmanned aerial vehicles shot down over the peninsula. Partisans warn that Russian occupation forces are preparing large-scale inspections in Crimea under the guise of anti-terror drills. According to their information, new checkpoints will be installed across the peninsula on April 29th, with additional patrols deployed to inspect documents, phones, and search for pro-Ukrainian residents. A squad of Buryats from the Russian army thought they'd swing by to tow a tank trashed by Ukrainian forces. Barely had time to blink before their armored ride hit a juicy anti-tank mine. Now they're the ones needing a lift out. Smooth move, guys. Likely eastern direction.
Арсик, нормально? А? Нет, темка.
Precision teamwork. A UAV from Ukraine's 47th Brigade spots a hidden Russian D-30 howitzer in a forest strip. Intel is passed to HIMARS. First strike, high explosive. Second, cluster munition, followed by a massive ammo detonation. The Russian D-30 howitzer, a Cold War-era artillery piece, remains active on the front lines in Ukraine. Despite its age, it delivers powerful 122mm shells against Ukrainian positions. Meanwhile, Russian war correspondents are gearing up to scatter into hiding after another dose of Shoigu's claims about Europe preparing for war with Russia. One such Z propagandist, Roman Alyokin, fears that, following Russia's time-honored tactics, millions of mobilized Russians will fall somewhere along the Vistula.
Security Council head Sergei Shoigu made a public appearance and gave an interview to TASS and said that Europe is preparing for war with Russia by the year 2030. I'm curious. Okay, Europe is preparing, but what about us? It's just funny when Shoigu, who completely failed the preparation for the special military operation, talks about it. People who just stole, I just don't understand why he is the Secretary of the Security Council and not behind bars. Meanwhile, today it became known that the combat general Popov received 5 years in prison. And this is how we are preparing for the upcoming war with Europe. We have already overwhelmed Ukraine, now we will overwhelm Europe. I can just imagine how we will fight with Europe, mobilize a couple of million and lay them down at the Vistula or somewhere else. Otherwise, as long as we have such managers in his team, we can't do it differently.
President Zelensky agrees with Trump that Ukraine lacks the weapons for a military retake of Crimea, but other levers of influence exist. He stresses Ukraine is open to any talks in any format, but only after a genuine, unconditional ceasefire.
Наші люди, так, це головніше, найголовніше. Але казати, що у нас немає армії, це неправда, я так вважаю. І тому у нас сьогодні, я погоджуюсь з президентом Трампом, що у України немає достатньо зброї, щоб зброєю повернути контроль над півостровом Крим. Але у нас є можливості санкційні, у світу є можливості іншого економічного тиску, дипломатичного тиску, щоб говорити це, обговорювати територіальні питання, але тільки після повного безумовного припинення вогню. Саме таке наше бачення. І на пропозиції Сполучених Штатів, ще раз вдячні за пропозиції від всіх наших партнерів, Сполучених Штатів і європейців, від всіх ми відповідаємо, що повне припинення, безумовне припинення вогню відкриває можливості говорити про все. І ми готові до діалогу в будь-якому, ще раз підкреслю, форматі, з будь-ким в цьому форматі, будь-коли. Але тільки після реального сигналу, що Росія готова щодо закінчення війни. Такий сигнал – це повне, безумовне припинення вогню.
And once sanctions are lifted, this number will grow tenfold. The missile that killed 12 Ukrainians in Kyiv yesterday contained at least 116 components. Most of them, sadly, made in the U.S., Zelensky said. Republican lawmakers in the U.S. Congress are preparing to propose an additional $150 billion in defense spending, including $27 billion earmarked for the so-called Golden Dome missile defense system, Reuters news agency reports. If passed, the measure would push the total U.S. defense budget for fiscal year 2025 beyond $1 trillion, up from the already approved $886 billion. The proposal is expected to be part of President Donald Trump's broader tax legislation, which includes $5 trillion in tax cuts. The package is estimated to increase the federal deficit by about $5.7 trillion over the next decade. In addition to the Golden Dome, the spending package includes procurement of additional THAAD missile defense systems and interceptors, as well as $29 billion for 14 new naval vessels. The Golden Dome initiative, pushed by Trump, would involve a satellite-based missile detection and interception system. Leading candidates for the program include SpaceX, Palantir, and Anduril. Under the plan, between 400 and more than 1,000 satellites would be deployed into low Earth orbit to detect and track missiles. A separate fleet of 200 armed satellites would be capable of destroying incoming threats using missiles or laser-based systems. Sources suggest SpaceX will likely not be involved in arming the satellites.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.